A lot of people think you either born an optimist or you're not. But what if I told you that's not true? The research actually shows it's a skill, and it's one of the single biggest predictors of success and happiness. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to break down exactly how you can build it. Okay, let's start with a quick gut check. Think about it. When something goes wrong, say a project at work totally tanks, or a sales call just goes south, or maybe you just get cut off in traffic, what's that first reaction for you? Do you kind of spiral and think, well, that's it? Or do you start looking for a way through? That initial gut response, that's exactly what we're diving into today. All right, first things first, we gotta tackle a really common mistake people make. They mix up real, genuine optimism with what you might call blind positivity. And you know what? Getting this difference right is the absolute first step to building that resilient mindset.
So, speaker Simon Sinek has a great way of putting this. He says that real optimism isn't about being naive at all. It's not about ignoring reality. It's actually a super grounded way of looking at things. You see the challenges, you acknowledge them head on, but you still believe there's a good outcome on the other side.
Okay, so here's how that breaks down. Blind positivity is that everything's fine, friend, even when the house is on fire, right? It just ignores what's really happening. But true optimism, it looks the struggle right in the eye. It says, wow, yeah, this is tough. But, and this is the key part, it still fundamentally believes there's a path forward, a way to get to that brighter future. And Sinek's metaphor for this is just perfect. Think of it like being in a dark tunnel. The optimist doesn't pretend they're not in a tunnel. They know it's dark. They have no idea how long it's going to be. But they have this deep, unwavering belief that there is a light at the end. And just holding on to that belief, well, that changes everything. So, okay, that's the theory, but how does this all play out in the real world? Well, this difference in how you see things has a huge, massive impact on how you deal with life's challenges. And for a really clear way to think about this, we're going to look at the work of author Brian Tracy. And here's the absolute heart of it. The crucial thing to get is that it's not the actual event that shapes our lives. It's our reaction to it. A setback is just a thing that happened. It's the story we tell ourselves about it, how we frame it in our own minds that gives it all of its power. So picture this. An optimist and a pessimist face the exact same setback, but they see it through completely different lenses. The optimist sees it as temporary, just a passing storm. The pessimist, they see it as permanent, like this is their life now. The optimist sees it as one isolated thing, while the pessimist thinks it's universal, that this failure somehow touches everything in their life. And maybe most importantly, the optimist tends to look at external reasons, while the pessimist turns it inward and sees it as a deep personal failure. Let's use Brian Tracy's example of a lost sale. The pessimist's internal monologue is something like, "See, I knew it. I'm terrible at this. I'll never succeed." But the optimist, they frame it totally differently. They're thinking, man, that was a tough call, but hey, it's a one-off. The next one's going to be better. They see it for what it is, a single, temporary event that says nothing about their future. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the what and the why of optimism. Now let's get to the really good stuff, the actionable how. I'm going to give you 4 practical, concrete steps you can start using literally today to build this optimistic muscle whenever you're up against a challenge. So, these come right from Brian Tracy's work. The 4 steps are, number 1, control your response, 2, isolate the incident, 3, don't take it personally, and 4, stay calm and objective. Simple, right? Let's break down what each of those actually means. All right, step 1 is all about that initial mental reframe. The second something goes wrong, you have to consciously tell yourself, okay, this is temporary. This is not my destiny. And then, this part is key, instead of just sitting there dwelling on what went wrong, you immediately pivot and start visualizing the very next step you can take to make things better. Step 2 is all about building what I like to call mental firewalls. You cannot let a problem in one part of your life bleed into all the others. You know what I mean? A really tough day at work doesn't mean your entire life is a failure. When you learn to see a setback as just this one single isolated event, you contain it. You stop it from poisoning everything else. Okay, this next one, this is a total game changer. Step 3, don't take it personally. An optimist defaults to seeing negative things as being caused by external stuff, not some flaw in themselves. Tracy's traffic example is just perfect. The pessimist gets cut off and immediately thinks, that jerk did that to me on purpose. The optimist, they think, whoa, that person must be having a terrible day to be driving like that. See that shift? It's not a personal attack anymore. It's just a circumstance. And finally, step 4, stay calm and objective. Brian Tracy says something really powerful here. He says that the hallmark of a truly mature personality is being able to control your emotions during, as he puts it, the inevitable storms of daily life. So the goal is to see things as they really are, not through a fog of emotion. And a great way to do that is to talk to yourself in a positive, calming way. It keeps your mind clear so you can actually focus on solutions.
All right, so as we start to wrap this up, let's boil everything we've talked about down to the one single, most powerful idea you should walk away with. And this quote from Brian Tracy really says it all. You may not be able to control events, but you can control the way you react to them. I mean, think about that. Life is always going to throw curveballs at us. We can't control that. But the one thing, the only thing we always have 100% control over is how we respond. And right there, that is where all your power is. It's not about trying to prevent bad things from ever happening. It's about mastering your reaction when they do. That is the skill of optimism. So, I want to leave you with a question to take with you. Think about one challenge you're facing right now, big or small, doesn't matter. Now, using this framework we've talked about, what's just one small shift in how you see it that you can make starting right now, today?